Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Michael and Rusty Show. On tonight's episode, we have a very special moment in history for the CFL, the signing of Bo Levi Mitchell, the former quarterback of the Calgary Stampeders, who has signed a 3-year contract with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And we're going to talk about the ramifications of this for both the Tiger Cats moving forward, as well as the quarterback carousel throughout the league, because there are going to be some dominoes falling in other markets because of this signing by the Tiger Cats. So, hello, Michael.
Hey, Uncle Russ.
So today we're going to talk about who Bo Levi Mitchell is, as well as talk about who he's replacing, and just the overall history leading up to the signing, including the deal that Hamilton and Calgary came to, where Hamilton acquired Bo Levi Mitchell's rights, and they were able to talk to Mitchell before the onset of free agency next month. So let's talk about Bo Levi Mitchell. He's a 2-time most outstanding player in the CFL and a 2-time Grey Cup winner. He's also the leader in among active passers in terms of passing yardage, with over 35,000 yards. So he's had an outstanding career. For some, it puts him in a trajectory for the Hall of Fame if he can rebound from a couple of injury-plagued years, particularly with his shoulder, his throwing shoulder. But he has come back in terms of his health. He had an interview with Matthew Shinetti of the TSN crew, and he said that he's feeling as well as he has in years, in part because, of course, he was a backup quarterback for most of last season. So, Michael, I'd just like to have your feelings right off the top. What did you think when you heard it? And what do you think this will mean for the Tiger Cats moving forward?
Well, first of all, this acquisition by the Tiger Cats is the biggest signing in the quarterback position since Henry Burris came to town over 10 years ago. We, and I mean by we, Tiger Cat fans have had pretty good quarterbacks came around for the last 10, 15, 20 years, ever since Dave McManus retired. I should say left. He left for Calgary, I believe.
Yes.
In the mid 2000s, and we were trying to have a quarterback that can win that Grey Cup for us. But since McManus took us to the Promised Land in '99, we have not had any success. We had Casey Printers, we had Jason Moss, no particular order. And we also had Henry Burris, of course, two productive years, and then
Kevin Glenn.
Pardon?
Kevin Glenn as well.
Kevin Glenn, thank you, Kevin Glenn,
and Quentin Porter. Let's not forget we had him.
And you had Zach Caleros. Even you had Timmy Chain. You had Jeremiah Masoli. Like, we were trying to find a guy that would take us to the Promised Land, and like I said, we had an unlucky streak. Bo Levi Mitchell is no scrub. He is, like you mentioned, projected to be a Canadian Football League Hall of Famer very soon when he retires. Despite the fact you had 2 years of unproductive results at the quarterback position in Calgary at the helm. In last year, as you said, he was a backup to Jake Meyer in Calgary. And also he has mostly in part the injury. So for Hamilton, having a 3-year $500,000 per year contract It comes to say that Hamilton has clearly, and I mean clearly, in the conversation for to make it a very interesting off season and something that is very important for the city of Hamilton and land for the Tiger Cats fan base, because it is the host. Well, the Tiger Cats, I should say, is hosting the Grey Cup this year, and the Tiger Cats is clearly going all in. Start with the signing of this move of Bo Levi Mitchell to town. And the other thing is about Bo Levi Mitchell. I have heard from many Tiger Cat fans, and the reaction has been generally mixed in the way of the fact of past experiences from several fans, if not many fans, who has seen Bo Levi Mitchell in person or let alone on TV, and thinks that they could be a jerk and stuff. But you gotta understand, this is business. And I bet you many of those who are against Bo Levi Mitchell coming to Hamilton will understand this is business. And we gotta accept the fact that Bo Levi Mitchell is coming to Hamilton, regardless of what you're feeling. And we're not trying to convert anybody. We are more trying to accept the reality, is Bo Levi Mitchell is coming to Hamilton as QB1, and we may talk about Dane Evans very, very shortly because we got two quarterbacks that are over $400,000 per season, and that's going to be interesting to see how the Ticats go with Evans. But with Mitchell coming to town, I think it's safe to say that Ticats mean business, and I would not be surprised if the Ticats will overspan several key free agents come February 14th.
And I think that he, when he was being interviewed by Matthew Shinetti, I think Bo made it clear that he was certainly going to try to call up, a number of possible free agents and try to use his influence to get them to sign with Hamilton. I saw an interesting statistic in one of the online articles that I browsed through in the Spectator, Hamilton Spectator, and it was some calculation that was made by. Do you know the name of the acting general manager at this point? Or the assistant, I should say,
for the Ticats.
Ticats. Is it Zimmerman?
I think
it's his last name. I forget his first name, but this guy did an interesting bit of research. He took he made a spreadsheet of all the recent Grey Cup winners, and he calculated the percentage of the salary cap that the starting quarterback took in all the championship years that were covered under the cap. And it turns out that what has happened with Mitchell's contract, which is it's north of 500,000. It's not the largest. 600,000 is the level that it's rumored that Zach Claros is getting paid by the Blue Bombers. But Mitchell is coming in at about 9%. And 9% is the average that a successful quarterback will take of the cap. So this is in line with at least historical precedent. So it's a good thing from Mitchell's perspective vis-a-vis the team. But I think you mentioned Dane Evans, and we'll get to him in a bit because I want to talk to you about the implications where he might go if he doesn't agree to a salary reduction. We'll talk about that, but first of all, I just want to very quickly point out what the existing deal with Calgary was regarding the rights trade. Hamilton acquired the Stampeders 2023 first round pick, which is 5th overall, and a 2024 third round selection. The Stampeders received Hamilton's 2023 first round pick for this year's draft, 4th overall, as well as a 3rd and 6th round selections, in addition to a 2024 second round. So this is not a disaster in terms of Hamilton having to trade all its trade capital for this year. It just means that in the middle rounds, we're not going to have as many draft picks. We still have a first round draft pick, even with the Mitchell trade. So I think that this is big news in terms of, I think that had we not signed Mitchell, had he gone to free agency and signed with another team, it would have been a very bad move in hindsight. But fortunately, it's actually, it seems to have, at least for now, worked out well. Let's talk about Dane Evans. As you mentioned, he signed last year for a large contract. It's north of $400,000. And that was under the expectation that he would be the starter. And it's pretty clear that if he's going to stay with the Ticats at all, he's going to have to take a haircut. And so, I don't know how much that would be. Would probably be slightly under 200,000. I think that's basically the going rate for a backup quarterback, from what I've heard. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that possibility?
Well, that'd be just clear stuff in the minds of the Tiger Town faithful about Dane Evans. I have been a fan of Dane Evans for the last several years as the starting quarterback, or I should say QB A1 or QB A2, wherever you want to debate it. I think he had a good, good seasons, 2 good seasons with the Ticats beforehand, and then became the full-time, undisputed, clear-cut #1 starter last season. And despite the fact he took the team to 2 Grey Cups, and despite the fact that the Tiger Cats have been pretty good for the large part of the last 2-3 seasons, aside from last year's horrific start, Dane Evans had produced a lot of good stuff for Hamilton, but at the end of the day, the only result matters is winning the Grey Cup. And Dane Evans, despite the mental health stuff he had to endure, like last season, you know this, Uncle Russ, that Dane Evans is, or I should say was, in considerable disarray, because he was a turnover machine. He had several touchdowns here and there, but he decided to turn around. I'm going to say decide. He did turn around, but he decided to seek counsel or therapy, trying to clear the mind. And I remember the game against Winnipeg at home, and he torn up the Blue Bombers defense. And he had a pretty good second half. Had he not had a loss against Montreal during that stretch, we could have been talking of Hamilton hosting the East semifinal rather than traveling to Montreal.
Yeah.
But Dane Evans, this guy does not deserve any shellacking from many of the fans of the Ticats. I'm not saying all, because I know there's a lot of fans that know Ticats very well for the last throughout the time, supporting the team, and they are very dedicated to see the Ticats win. Dane Evans is no exception to any other quarterback that the Ticats have had over the last 10, 20 years. It's just the only thing that matters within this town right now is winning the Grey Cup, and that is for a football fan. And Hamilton is a football first city. It's a prominent football town. And we have not had a Grey Cup since 1999. And Dane Evans did everything right, did everything he could to guide this team to two Grey Cup appearances back to back in 2019 and 2021. And then last year, of course, the debacle, semi debacle year, but above average numbers, but not like quarterback 400,000 thinking pay 400K kind of numbers. Yeah. So Dane Evans is without a doubt a good guy. He has done everything right for the community, and being an indigenous person. He has done a lot for the community and represented for Hamilton well. But the real question is, can he go down? Can he sacrifice nearly 200, 300 grand?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, around 200, 250 grand less, and play second fiddle to Bo Levi Mitchell and become the ultimate insurance policy.
Yeah.
And perhaps the best CFL, best insurance policy in the CFL.
Yeah, I was interested in what was being said around the press conference, and things came out in terms of Mitchell's discussions with Tommy Condell, the offensive coordinator for Hamilton, leading up to the signing. And Condell was pretty clear that he envisions a 2 quarterback system with the Terracats moving forward, similar to what was happening last year with Dane Evans and Matthew Shills. So it's very interesting from that perspective, whether Schultz is available, because he is a free agent, whether he would be willing to come back, or whether, of course, Evans would forego the opportunity of being a starter elsewhere and go for the backup route. I don't think that anyone can argue with what you've said about Evans as a person. I didn't mention, I think we talked about it in one of the earlier episodes, the incident that Bo Levi Mitchell had with some of the fans that obviously has soured some people in terms of their, how they feel about Mitchell. But I think that time has a way of changing the narrative. And if Mitchell's all in and shows leadership, not just with the team, but also with the community, I think that he can repair any, bad blood that's been, has come up in the past. But we'll see about that. It's early,
And just to add on to about Bo Levi Mitchell, I just remembered something. I watched the clip of the interview between Mitchell and Courtney Stephen, who was ironically a former teammate of his in Calgary.
Yeah.
Of Mitchell's in Calgary, I should say. And Bo Levi Mitchell said, what I think should be tagged on throughout his time in Hamilton. I'm not going to say word by word of what Bo said, but he has said that his legacy in Calgary, he's already had one legacy done in Calgary. That's done.
Yeah.
his right now he is a quarterback for the Talon Ticats, and he doesn't have any. He has no legacy so far. So right now, so he has an opportunity to write the script and do something that no other Hamilton quarterback in a starting capacity have done in 20, almost a quarter century, literally.
Right.
And,
And
that is
and keep
winning
it
Grey Cup.
and keep in mind that and it was talked about this week. It's much like the situation, not just Henry Burris coming from Calgary to Hamilton in 2012. Not just that, because actually Mitchell said in his interview with Matthew Shinetti that actually he was in contact with Burris because he wanted his input, what he could expect leaving Calgary for another organization. And I think that it was interesting to see that Burris had great things to say about Hamilton, the organization, and the fans. And I think that did put Mitchell more at ease in terms of what he could expect. So there's that, but also talk that it's somewhat reminiscent if Mitchell can actually take Hamilton to the next level and win a championship. It's similar to what you had with Ricky Ray when Ricky Ray was winning Grey Cups in Edmonton, and then he found himself on the outs, and he left, and he went to Toronto, and he solidified himself as well with the Argonaut franchise. So, it happens in the CFL. You have Tom Clements, what he did in Ottawa as a rookie and as a young quarterback in the 70s, and then later, after his situation in Hamilton didn't work out, he was able to find himself in Winnipeg, and he again set himself up as a Blue Bomber legend. So this happens in the CFL. It's one of those sports leagues where guys can change their entire narrative by excelling in a new situation. So that's something that we can look towards this year and beyond to see if Mitchell can actually attain that success. What I wanted to ask you is, where do you think Dane Evans will wind up? What's your gut?
My gut is Dane Evans could. There's a long consideration. Or I say, maybe I could go this back. There is general buzz going around in Saskatchewan that Dane Evans is a candidate because their new recently appointed OC, offensive coordinator, is very high on Dane Evans. So that's a potential destination. The unlikeliest destination would be Ottawa to reunite with Masoli. I think Evans has been more than capable of being the starter for any other CFL team that it has a quarterback deficiency. And another team that is insufficient in quarterback is Edmonton. I think Edmonton would be a good choice for Evans to revitalize his studded career from the days of Hamilton in 2019 and 2021. But yeah, Dane Evans in Saskatchewan would be a good fit because they let go Cody Fajardo, and Evans is I consider to be a bigger upgrade to Fajardo.
Yeah, I think that I think we've talked about in past shows and today that Dane Evans, when he's on, is a top 3 quarterback in the CFL in certainly in my view. The problem has been inconsistency, and this year was just horrific in terms of interceptions. He had 16 interceptions. He had 7 lost fumbles. You can't win in this league or in any football league if you're having that many turnovers and in big situations as well. So he's got to clean that up. But he will have an opportunity to make a fresh start.
Mhm.
I don't know about Toronto's situation. We imagine that Chad Kelly is in the mix in terms of being the heir apparent to McLeod Bethel Thompson if he should retire. Did you hear anything about Bethel Thompson and his plans?
I haven't heard anything yet. It's been relatively quiet in Ogleland, but yeah, I would not be surprised if McLeod Bethel Thompson is going to retire and give the reins to Chad Kelly. And I think Chad Kelly's a free agent too.
Right. I mean, I have no doubt that Toronto's going to try to lock him up.
Yeah.
And the whole dynamic, I think, like it would be really interesting if Evans did wind up in Toronto somehow, because that would just give the rivalry a little bit more spice. Not that it needs it, but certainly Saskatchewan is the landing spot, I think, that makes the most sense in terms of what their need is. And quite frankly, I still think that they're ahead in terms of their roster in comparison to Edmonton. So, that would be a possibility definitely for him. What do you think about the other news in the league? I've heard about Gino Lewis possibly being on the move. Do you see any possibility that Mitchell might be able to influence him to come to Hamilton?
Well, I have a few of my friends clamoring for Gino Lewis to come to Hamilton. I think he would be a great fit for the receiving corps, let alone be the one of the complimentary receivers for Mitchell to throw to during the season. I think he would be a really good fit. Like I said, a good friend of mine who I did a podcast several years ago with him. He's very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable when it comes to football, when Canadian football in general. He's more specific. Excuse me. He is one of his favorites in the CFL right now is Gino Lewis. So he's advocating for Gino Lewis to come and if Montreal says what he says is and we're not going to express that right now on this podcast. I think we will get banned by YouTube and other stuff if we say a swear word.
Okay.
But Gino Lewis would be a very interesting idea, or I should say, a very interesting move for Hamilton to get.
Brandon Banks is still out there because Toronto let him go. But I think that Lewis has a lot of upside, and definitely I think he's probably the number one option for most general managers in the free agent class.
He's not. Let's keep in mind, this is not the Brendan Banks of 2019.
Exactly.
This is the Brendan Banks that is going to be should still be a complimentary receiver to any team. Even if Hamilton wants to take more crack at him, that would be good. If it's,
I would see him more in terms of his special teams ability. I think he still has a lot of juice in that respect. I'm not denigrating him at all. I just think that Lewis is a dynamic player. With being a younger player, he has more more of a future in terms of building around him. So I'd like to stop it there. Thank you for your time, Michael, as always.
Thank you for having me.
And I'd like to remind everyone that we have upcoming shows. There will be a review of the past NFL weekend and a look at the upcoming championship series of games in the NFC and AFC that will happen. So until next time, thank you, and like and subscribe. And we'll keep you posted on all things football and other sports. Until then, thanks and take care.